November the 18th, 2025. Guys, you're looking at an article today from Breitbart. It says Abbott designates the Muslim Brotherhood CARE as terrorist criminal organizations, bans land ownership in Texas. Now, if you go back a few months ago when we were covering the standoff in Texas where the Democrats fled to California and I think maybe Michigan and Detroit, a couple other places, in order to keep from voting on the new redistricting plan in Texas, remember? Anyway, the Texas got that passed, and by the way, that was dropped by a court today, a lower court, that in saying that it was illegal. So I'm sure that Abbott and that bunch will go again repeal that or appeal that, and that will carry forward. But during that time, we covered the events south of Houston to where there was a big city being built there. And at that time, I didn't know there was another bigger Muslim city, also Muslim, being built to the northeast of Texas. Well, Abbott was against that. We saw a video to where some of the Muslim clerics were going around the different grocery stores, if you guys remember, and saying, you must stop selling alcohol, cigarettes, pork, and all this, right? They were demanding a Sharia takeover, basically. Regardless of what you're saying, that's been their plan the whole time. And so Abbott got tired of it today and made the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE terrorist criminal organizations. Now, I'm wondering, and I don't think that Trump will be far behind on carrying this to a national level. Of course, that will create more conflict, more problems, but it's something to, if you think about it, and all of us know it, guys, if you're from another country and all, don't come to this country and try to enforce your laws. If you like the Sharia law system, stay in the nations that have it. This article continues. It says Texas Governor Greg Abbott designated the Muslim Brotherhood and the Council of American Islamic Relations, CARE, as foreign terrorist organizations and transnational criminal organizations today, and not just here in the country. The designation will allow for heightened enforcement actions against the organization and its affiliates by authorities within the Lone Star State. Guys, it's not just they're building Muslim cities. Again, the protesters that were trying to attack people and burn campuses and all of this in protest of the Hamas war, they're given $1,000 each and scholarships to places like Harvard if they would go into law and come out and represent the Muslims that are getting in trouble, I guess is what you want to say it, or say Antifa, that bunch. It says, in a Tuesday morning press release issued at the state capitol, we got a copy of that, says Abbott offered the following comments regarding the designation, saying, the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE have long made their goals clear to forcibly impose Sharia law and establish Islam's mastership of the world. That is their creed. The actions taken by the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE to support terrorism across the globe and subvert our laws through violence, intimidation, and harassment are unacceptable. That's exactly right, it's unacceptable. We did not stay in Europe and get away from Britain to go through all of this. The designation will prohibit both organizations and their affiliates from purchasing or acquiring land in Texas. Abbott emphasized the consequences of the designation, adding, these radical extremists are not welcome in our state and are now prohibited from acquiring any real property interests in Texas. Guys, this will follow suit with more and more actions. Again, why? Because they have been designated as a transnational criminal organization. You better keep your heads low when that tag gets put on you. Now, guys, you can see here, November 18th today, it was signed at 8:30 a.m. this morning by Jane Nelson. It says the Honorable Jane Nelson, Secretary of State, State Capitol Room IE.8 in Austin. That's where I was born. It says, Dear Secretary Nelson, pursuant to his powers as Governor of the State of Texas, Greg Abbott has issued the following proclamation designating the Muslim Brotherhood and care as foreign terrorist and transnational criminal organizations under the Texas Penal and Texas Property Codes. Now, how will that affect someone in that one of those organizations becoming a lawyer or a politician in Texas? Don't know yet. The original proclamation is attached to this letter of transmittal, respectively, Gregory Davidson, Executive Clerk to the Governor. Now, the attachment is here, proclamation by the Governor of the State of Texas. It says, to all whom these presents shall come. Whereas the Society of the Muslim Brothers, also known as Jama'at Ikhwan al-Muslim, the Muslim Brotherhood is a transnational Islamic organization, and whereas Hassan al-Banna, who founded the Muslim Brotherhood almost 100 years ago, professed that jihad is an obligation from Allah on every Muslim and cannot be ignored nor evaded, and that jihad means the fighting of the unbelievers. In other words, attack, kill, rape, pillage, everything that doesn't agree with your religion. These religions were designed thousands of years ago to keep war up, and you can see the continuation here and in Israel. It says, again, the fighting of the unbelievers, and involves all possible efforts. Do you understand what that means? That are necessary to dismantle the power of the enemies, Islam including beating them. Now, plundering their wealth, destroying their places of worship, and smashing their idols. Kind of like what we saw with ISIS when they were destroying all the temples in Iran after that fiasco went down there. Remember, they were blowing up ancient sites, the guys that had thousands of years of history. So what that is telling you it's a battle of the gods. Of course, the lesser gods, but the gods of, like the Prince of Persia and the leaders of this country or that country. But it's about who controls the narrative of the religion. Religion is a controlling factor. And it can be so overwhelming that people put on blinders, just like we're seeing here, and think their way is the only way, or you're going to die. But to be honest with you, most religions are the very same way. You say something against any belief, if it's mainstream, like what some of the false preachers teach here in the U.S. with Christianity, you get attacked very heavily, even though you're speaking the truth. It's just the opposite here, because these guys are not speaking the truth. They're speaking a demonic message sent by their father, the father of lies. And guys, that has spilled over into every religion. Not many of them remain that do not have blinders on, their way or the highway. It says, whereas even in the present day, Mohammed Badi, the 8th Supreme God of the Muslim Brotherhood, who is currently serving a life sentence for plotting an armed insurrection in Egypt, has stated that the organization's primary goal is to establish Islam's mastership of the world and a total reform of all domains of life by resurrecting an Islamic State, guys, or a caliphate empowered to forcibly impose Sharia law worldwide. I mean, that's what they're saying, and we're listening. Whereas the Muslim Brotherhood provides support to localized branches in countries and terrorists throughout the world, including groups that conduct terrorism internationally. Again, Antifa, if they would protest against the dealing with Israel and Hamas, $1,000 check, scholarship to Harvard and some of the other major colleges if you would become an Islamic lawyer. Think about that. They said it themselves. But guys, I'm going to link to this where you can go on and read about it. It's kind of repetitive because of the fact that it's been stated many, many times. And I've said that not only this is a good thing, but what should happen is the Democrats should be given the same designation, because they are just as dangerous and just as destructive as CARE and the Islamic Brotherhood. They want to change anything, and it makes you wonder how close they really are. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of information coming out, guys. just keep your heads on the swivel. The stock markets are down again, and a lot of that is from the AI companies. AI and Bitcoin are sliding, and the stock markets are going to continue to drop 300 and 400 points a day, and we're going to see panic set in. So now is not the time to give up hope, but it is the time to prepare. We see these things coming, and they are coming. It's a good thing that people are waking up. We're seeing events like this. Should be done nationwide. And I think that Trump and Abbott have a pretty good relationship. They both agree on the border, the situation, ICE, Border Patrol. They're very close on those type things, and this fits right into that category. But guys, we're watching, you watch it again. So much going on right now, you can't keep up with it. I'm going to do my best. It's a heads up. Be safe.